Before you trust AI agents with your work, here are 4 things that you need to know. The word agents is everywhere now, but most of them talk about building one, talk about architecture, diagrams, API calls, all of those things. But for someone who's in non-tech profession, someone like a marketing manager, they don't really need to know about the functionality or the building of it, but how useful is it going to be for them for their daily work? That part is missed out in most of the videos. So let's cover that, and let's start with understanding what are AI agents in simple terms. An AI agent is an AI that does multi-step process or a multi-step task on its own without you directing each and every step. Not like you write a question and then you get an answer, but more like you give it a job, like a proper task, and it does all the sub-steps that are needed to complete that task on its own by understanding and analyzing what the next steps are and giving you just the final result. Do you really need to know about AI agents? Well, the answer is a yes and a no. Let me explain. You as a non-tech person, you have to work with AI agents for sure, because these are getting built in the apps that you already use. But you do not need to get into the technicality of it. You need to know whether or not it is going to be helpful for your work. And if yes, then to what extent and what are its limitations? That is something that you need to understand. Apart from that, really building an AI is not really your job. That requires coding, that requires API plugins, and of course, if you would love to do it, go ahead, explore it, and have fun with it. But it is not going to be your core job to build an AI agent. And here are the 4 things that we are going to get into, which will explain why. Number 1, you may already be using them. Like I briefly mentioned earlier, you may have been using AI agents without really knowing that they are AI agents. AI agents are not really a separate app or a tool to download. They are inbuilt in the tools that you already use, whether it's Microsoft Copilot or Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, whatever it is. All of these have agents in some form. They don't really appear as agents. They appear as, schedule this task or do the next steps without asking, or research the report, or, create this design or the palette. All of these things, which are just different sorts of buttons or pop-ups that you see in the existing tools that you already use, are AI agents. And while you may be already using them, you might not be aware, because sometimes the terminologies also differ. Some companies call it assistant, some call it agent, some call it workflow. So don't look at the labels, understand what the working is behind it. Number 2. Agents run unsupervised. So all of the steps that it has done on its own was never really monitored. You just got the final result. And therefore, sometimes that volume can be mistaken. You could see a lot of work that is being done to assume that, okay, all of this work that went in might be correct. But here is the thing. Each step that it takes, there is a chance of one mistake in each step happening, and that could trickle down to the final report. The report might look really well put together, good headline, good data, everything, but the overall picture that goes behind the making of this could be incorrect. Think about it. If we look at the competitor analysis example, imagine it taking the wrong competitors in the first place, or picking up the wrong source of the competitors in the next step, or even worse, picking up parameters that are not really the ones that you wanted. All of these could sum up into the result looking good but not actually being correct. So this requires a lot more review from your end, which brings me to the 3rd point. Is this my report? That's the question that you need to ask every time an AI agent does the work for you, because at each step it has taken a decision, a direction that you were not involved in. So if at any point when the report is ready, you feel like maybe this angle or this perspective is not correct, and I think that the parameter that was missed should be included here, you need to go back and create the entire report again, or have a conversation with the agent asking it to tweak that particular step and follow the rest again. When you work with agents, the review involved is a lot more. And every step of decision needs to be your own, because when you send in the report, it has your name on it. Point number 4. What do you do when someone asks you, Do you build AI agents or do you know anything about AI agents? The thing is, we get intimidated with any new thing that comes up and we are not quite sure of how we can use it. And that's pretty obvious. It's not something to be ashamed of. But what you need to know is how to answer to people, bosses, friends, colleagues, anybody who's asking you about something new. Because a lot of people just jump on the trend without realizing whether it is needed or it's a necessity for them or no. So in this case, when you're being questioned, all you need to say is, yes, an AI agent is an AI that runs multi-step process on its own and comes back with the final result. I do not build them, but I know that they are embedded in the tools that we already use, and I also use them. And since they run unsupervised, I treat their produce as drafts, which require a lot of final review from my end before it is sent anywhere. Let's take a look at a live example. Right here, you see a pop-up where it says, try the work mode. And this itself is a step towards AI agents. So say, go on, try it. You see the work mode is here. Okay, and it'll tell you what it can do. This itself is an AI agent in ChatGPT. Now, let me try something interesting. I'll say, find 3 recent marketing campaigns from beauty brands, summarize the main idea behind each campaign and identify the target audience, and give me 3 lessons a small brand could use. Okay, and let me see what it does. It's going to take much longer than you'd like because it is going to do all the research and take each step one by one. And sometimes, like in this case, it is showing you which are the places, what are the websites it is going and checking out, and it'll show you how long it took for that. Okay, you see here it already looked up for 3 brands, and because I did not really define which brand or what audience, it just picked up the best of the brands. So it was Rare Beauty, Dove, and Liquid Death. All of these are L, of course. So all of these big brands is what it picked up, and then it showed me build the campaign around one instantly understandable hook. So don't make a lot of CTAs or a lot of hooks around it, and borrow a community, not just follow account, and make the product part of the entertainment. All of these things that it is saying, of course, this was just an example, but you could actually use it for a lot of different things. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you try something interesting on your own, exploring AI agents in whatever tool you are currently using. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe for more practical tips on AI. And if you are even worried about using AI correctly, then here is another video about 3 advanced AI mistakes that most of us do despite using AI every day. Worth a look. Until next time, bye-bye.